Hi, this is Dr. Leroy Always, and this is Grade School for Parents. Actually, this is third grade math for parents, and this is my introduction to it. I'm going to take a look at the first and second semesters, the 14 topics that will be covered. I do not have this year's third grade math book for at least for Florida, at least for my kids' school. But I'm going to be basing this off of my kids' third grade math experience from last year. When I made this channel, third grade or grade school for adults, it was actually going to be called third grade math for adults. And I was going to take a look at only at third grade math, and then I was going to do fourth grade math and so on. But my kids are now in third grade, or excuse me, they're going to kill me. My kids are now in fourth grade, and so I'm doing fourth grade math for parents or for adults, and I decided I need to do what I really wanted to do in third grade math for adults as well. One of the reasons is in Florida, there's the Florida FAST test. There's state testing everywhere, and the interesting thing, the only school that, or the only school year that your kid can be not promoted is third grade based on testing. And so if they don't pass the FAST test, they don't get promoted. But the good news is, it doesn't matter really what score on math. All they have to do is make level 1 and answer one correct question, and I believe you'll make it to level 1. But they do have to make it to, I believe, level 3 in the English. So English is very important. And but the FAST testing is going to kind of terrify your kids, but it really shouldn't. And it's my kids were nervous the first time, and not a big problem after that. So I'm bringing that up because it's kind of what my motivation was for this entire thing, was getting my kids ready for the FAST test. So again, we're going to take a look at, this is the book that I have right here, Florida enVision Best Mathematics for last year. This is volume 2, but it does have the volume, it does have the entire table of contents for the entire school year. So we're going to take a look at that. I'm not going to really use the book. I'm just going to talk, and talk about things. So third grade mathematics, the very first topic in semester 1 is understanding multiplication and division of whole numbers. Whole numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4. They don't have a decimal point. So they do, but 0.0, but we don't talk about it. So it's just, they're going to be understanding multiplication and division of whole numbers. So what's 2 times 4? What's 4 times 2? And they are going to, the topic 1 basically is going to get them into more or less skip counting, and also it's going to be kind of an introduction to groups. And I'm going to show you an example of group here, and that is, I have 4 different colors here, and so I have 4 groups. If I base it just on color alone, 4 groups, two people in each group has two blocks, or two people, or two counters, or whatever you want to call them. And so what we see here is, interesting enough, this is 4 times 2, okay? Because there are 4 groups, each group has 2, okay? And this is kind of important to understand, because all through third grade you're going to hear group, and you're going to hear grouping, and those types of things. So if I do this, bring over my reds and my greens, and I'm going to get rid of this, I still have 4 times 2. Not really. Now I have 2 times 4. I have 2 groups of 4. So over here I have 4 groups of 2. And so this is the part of understanding multiplication and division of whole numbers, is they're going to be introduced to groups, and you're going to see this in topic 1, topic 2, and throughout the entire year they're going to talk about groups. They're going to talk about regrouping, and regrouping is, you're just going to take these 4 groups, and I'm going to take these 4 groups, and now I'm going to make them into 2 groups. And so now I have 2 groups of 4. That's another way of regrouping, is just to rearrange the participants of the group and make them of different sizes, or you're different. You're going to include different members of the groups, and so on. So that's one of the things you're going to see, and but this is a great little tool here. These Unifix Cubes. What they are is you can add them together. You might have saw them in first grade, second grade. Very, very useful in terms of visualizing grouping. And it's also very useful to understand the number line. And again, if you have a younger student, kindergarten, first grade, and second grade, these are great. But they're also very useful in third grade. And yeah, I'm advertising, but I'm not getting paid for advertising. But what I wanted to talk about also to understand mathematics or understand multiplication is I'm going to set this up a little bit different here, but this is something that you might, another way of looking at this, another way, excuse me, of looking at multiplication is to look at skip counting. And skip counting you probably do all the time, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. You're skip counting by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're actually skip counting by 1, but you're not really skipping, you're skipping to halves. But we don't really do that. In this particular case, you are skip counting by 3. So 3, 3, 6, 9, 12. I got 3 different colors on here, or 4 different colors, 3 blocks of different colors. So I'm skip counting 3, 6, 9, 12. And I also have 4 groups of 3. So I have 4 times 3. That's one way of looking at this. Also, this is just, you're skip counting by 3, 4 times, 3, 6, 9, 12. And so this is part of understanding multiplication and division of whole numbers using patterns for foundational mathematics. Okay, now topic 3 is we're going to look at build on known multiplication facts, and those are things called things like the associative property and the distributive property. And I'm not going to go into that right now, but that's part of that. That will be on the FAST test if you're in Florida, and your state test. Otherwise, I've taken, when we were prepping for the state test, and I will put this out here at some point. I looked at state tests from all over the country to prep my kids because I have one kid who has testing anxieties, and so I was looking at different tests and having her practice on those tests. So when I say FAST test, it's all state tests. Use multiplication to divide. Okay, to use multiplication to divide, I'm going to go back to these bricks, and this is just a quick way of looking at it, and that is if I have 2 groups of 3, I'm multiplying 2 times 3, so I got 6. Now if I divide that, divide it in half, or 6 divided by 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3. And so using multiplication to divide, that's really what that is, introduction to division. Quadrilaterals. I know in first kindergarten and second grade, your kids, kindergarten, first and second grade, your kids probably did talk about squares, probably did talk about rectangles, but now you're going to get into quadrilaterals a little bit more, and you're going to talk about rectangles and rhombuses and trapezoids and parallelograms, and how to define each one of those. Those topics, again, they're going to be on the state test, but they're also going to be used to find the area. And I am setting up a problem right here, and I want to know, I have 4 groups of 3, so I have 4 times 3, and I want to know the area of this if each one of these was a square mile. So if this side was 4 miles square, or 4 miles, and this side was 3 miles, what is the area? And so one way is, again, each one of these is 1 square mile, and so I can just add them up, and I have 12, or I have 4 times 3, and so I have 4 times 3 equals 12, but it's 4 miles times 3 miles equals 4 square miles. So part of the area is you're going to be talking about the units as well that's associated with. Another part is the perimeter. The perimeter is you got 4 plus 3 plus 4 plus 3 on this rectangle, and so I have 8 plus 6, and so my perimeter is 8 plus 6, 14 miles. And if you want to prep your kid on your state exam and you're going to take it early, I guarantee on Florida we do the FAST test 3 times. This is on the FAST test, and so they can boost that little first time score a little bit. Doesn't really matter, but they can. Now, topic 6. Place values, numbers. Okay, place value numbers are ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and 10,000s. And so they're going to be talking about those. The reason why they're talking about those is because of topic 7. Topic 7 is to add multi-digit whole numbers. And so they're going to be adding digits, whole numbers up to 10,000. So you're going to have, 5,000 plus 3,000, or 5,121 plus 2,015. So they're going to start adding multi-digit numbers. And the reason why they're going to be adding multi-digit numbers is because in multiplication, they're going to start generating multi-digit numbers. And so that they need to know that. So that's the end of the first semester. It's, it's for the parent, it's really beginning to, understanding groups, understanding 4 times 2 versus 2 times 4, understanding how to regroup. It gets kind of, it gets, grouping. It's just drove me crazy. And again, I graduated #1 in mathematics from my university with Bachelor of Science in Mathematics. So I'm just thinking, what are they talking about? This is not the way I learn math. But I see it, and the reason why, and I get it. And there's some interesting things that you're being exposed here that are actually kind of Common Core-ish. And what I mean by Common Core-ish is introduce things early. Like introduce to quadrilateral early. And you introduce to quadrilaterals early because I taught, before my kids were born 10 years ago, I was teaching at my local high school, and I was teaching geometry, and I was talking quadrilaterals. So even in high school, I had to discuss the rules of quadrilaterals. So teach them early, teach them in 3rd grade, teach them in 4th grade, and I've already looked at the 4th grade math book. Quadrilaterals are in the 4th grade math book again. So build it up, and add things to it. If you like this, please subscribe, please like, and I'm looking forward to the next one. Bye.